Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky.
Good morning.
I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky.
You are too.
Our advice for today, give yourself permission to suck.
Because you do.
Whoa. We're an uplifting podcast
we are,
here.
But if you think about it, so whenever we try something new, like whenever we identify that thing that we really want to go after, and when we're moving into growth, that first step is going to suck. Like until we start getting comfortable with it.
Oh, not only the first step. Sometimes it's the first 7.
Right.
I'm like, wait, am I still a beginner here? Because I thought that I was kind of an intermediate at this.
I just got chills because as we keep growing, and I think that's one of the things about allowing yourself to have that runway. Like a child when they're starting to walk or crawl or whatever, they don't give up right away, and we don't pressure them to be like, you're horrible at that. You should never try that again, right?
No. So I accidentally said in our last podcast, I am sometimes afraid of making a mistake. I'm afraid of making a mistake. Now, why in life do I feel that I need to live life perfectly? Like, that's just stupid.
So big. But how often do we have that subconscious thought if it's not even conscious? Like, I don't want to do this because what if? What if I make a mistake? What if someone laughs at me? What if I'm not enough? What if I can't? And it's not about not being able to. It's about this is new.
And
it's something I'm experiencing for the first time.
Okay, so Jason, you just totally identified a few things for me because, okay, I've talked a lot about my water skiing. The trick ski, I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible. However, I needed to allow myself to just suck.
Yeah, it's like give yourself the grace and know this is not who I am. This is just where I'm starting.
We're getting ready to take stand-up comedy lessons. I need to give myself permission to just suck.
Just suck and learn that new comfortability with it. It's for me, it was dancing. Like dancing to me, I'd always told myself I'm not coordinated. I can't do choreography. I don't do scripted anything. And ballroom dancing was that area of I'm making mistakes. I'm letting people down. I'm supposed to be the leader.
Yes.
I'm the lead. Like Jason's the lead.
Yeah, I know you are.
So all these things are compounding on me. And I'm going, what if I screw it up? Like, what if I'm not good at it? And it holds me back. It retards the effort of just allow yourself to suck and find that learning curve.
No, I mean, we even came in last place at that dance competition, and I had lot of emotions that followed that. But now that I think about it, we came in last place. We did it.
My newest client, my coaching client, sent me a message, said, I'm nervous. I've never done this before. Like I'm new to all this. Worked with a coach. Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, I was nervous the first time I ever worked with a client. Like and for some reason, like I had that, I guess it's called imposter syndrome.
No, we both were. We had some real doozies of sessions. I mean, I'm just going to be real, but I see what you do now and it's amazing. And so allowing ourselves
that runway. And I think of like, okay, there's always someone I'm learning from. So we have our coaches that we learn from, and it's just a way of passing it down and letting someone know, hey, you're right in the right place at the right time for your spiritual curriculum. Just allow it to be the right timing and the right place. And there are no mistakes. It's just feedback and growth.
I know. I still think about, we had this one guy that came to us and he wanted to leave his corporate job and become a speaker. And we tried doing a group and we tried doing some private coaching. And I always felt like I was not quite plugged into what he needed and where he was at the time. I still feel badly about that.
Yeah. And I think,
and I shouldn't, because I was learning as well.
Yeah. And one of the things is he went on to keep pushing through because this is what he wanted. So we talked about this in the last episode about knowing what you don't want versus knowing what you want.
Yes.
And when you know what you want, you just have to give yourself that grace and that latitude to say, I'm moving into something new. I'm moving into this growth, this element of growth. And if we look at feedback as it's not pointing out mistakes, it's not criticism, it's an element for growth. It's nourishment for my potential. It's nourishment for my capacity and my capability. And now it's an element that I can use because everything's made up of elements, right? Atoms and elements.
Okay, I'm going to take this even a step further. I feel like I need a written permission slip to suck.
And we can all give ourselves that. Or we can give our partners that. Or we can
Jana Ashley Shelfer. I give you permission from Jana Ashley Shelfer to try as many new things as your soul desires. And I also give you permission to not be the best. I give you permission to make mistakes. I give you permission to feel like you're wasting time. I give you permission to feel like you're not learning fast enough.
And what does that do?
I felt that way with I've been taking these stocks, learning to
financial investment,
to invest options. And I have felt like, I dove into it. I've taken all the classes. I've been actively doing it.
You've been diligent.
I haven't been always making money. That's the distinction there. And I've been making, I do my best to follow what they're saying, and mine always tend to
I'm not maximizing. Sometimes I'm getting blown out of the water.
And I need to remember I'm just learning.
Yeah. And what that does is when you give yourself those permission slips, it opens up the space for joy and excitement and enthusiasm in the process.
Oh my gosh. Again, I am having, that emoji where the brain is blown off? Yeah, it's like, whoa.
It's the new Trump emoji. That's not funny.
I just feel like I'm having breakthroughs right now.
Well,
give yourself permission to suck and write it out. I'm going to write it out. Like, Jana, I give you permission to just have fun with new things.
Experiment
with new things. Have fun with it. And it's okay if you're not the best. It's okay if you come in last place. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself to show up perfectly.
Yeah, everyone starts somewhere. Allow yourself to have a starting line. That's it. And know that where you are now isn't where you're going to be if you just keep leaning into that experience.
And I know this is a repeat because I've had so many coaches tell me before, we compare ourselves, we compare our beginning to other people's middle or end even. We compare ourselves. And why are we doing that?
Yeah, and that also lends to believing that some people are an overnight success. And I think that goes back to our podcast about the ski competition where you entered the competition 10 days before the competition, and never having been in a competition, never having really done any competitive skiing or done the course. But because of the work that you've done and because of the growth mindset and because of all the
baby steps all
that we've done
along
over the last
way,
really lifetime, but intentionally for the last 10 to 12 years, that lent itself into really narrowing the gap to look like, oh, well, she's a natural on a ski.
Okay, I'm going to give myself permission to suck. Permission to suck. And that even means if you want to go to a new party, meet new people, give yourself permission to make a fool of yourself. Give yourself permission to introduce yourself to people that don't really want to talk to you or that think you're weird. Who cares what anyone thinks? Give yourself permission.
And the more you give yourself permission to do these things that are holding you back, the more you'll realize you're giving yourself unwritten permission to find the joy, find the excitement and the enthusiasm and the fire within that moves you towards a life of living lucky.
Jason, that's really good. Thank you so much for your wisdom today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep living lucky.
Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, Visit us at startlivinglucky.com.